Welcome back to the Steel and Velvet podcast. This is episode 8.
8.
Yes, I am Macey, and this is Nash.
That's me, Nash. Episode 8.
Yeah,
How you
is
feel?
episode 8? Oh, I feel good. I feel really good.
Good.
A little tired, but I'm good.
Well, good thing you got your
An
little...
evening in Roma.
She's got a little scooter coffee. I don't know why she made that joke, but if you're watching on video, you can see that Macy has a cool little...
And then I didn't drink from the cup.
A little scooter mug here.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Anyway,
we're trying to get caffeinated, get ready to do this. We're talking about what we learned in our first year of dating, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1 year of dating. What did we learn?
roughly a year.
There's a whole lot that we learned. But how was your week, Macy? How was your week?
My week was great. I went and
Good.
visited some family, celebrated my niece's birthday, and just had some quality time with them. Got back last night, really late.
Yeah, like 1 in the morning or something.
Yeah, came home, and then here today. That's it.
Got a
What
little
about you?
workout in, yeah. My week was good. It was busy. Was able to preach on Sunday to the some of the students, which was super cool. And I really enjoyed doing that. And then, yeah, I got to see you because I did not go over the weekend with you. So I missed you. So I'm happy that
We are back
you're
together
here.
once
And
again.
we're recording an episode, so we're ready for it. But I guess let's just jump into it.
Yes.
Macy, what is...
You go first.
Okay.
What have you learned in our year?
So I would say within the first...
Well, can I get premise really quick?
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
can also
sorry.
cut me off more.
That was funny. Okay. We dated for a year. We started dating in October of 2021.
Yep.
And then we got engaged in December of 2022.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
were dating like a year and 2 months.
2 months, yeah. So, in between that time frame.
Yeah.
You were 19, I was 20 when we first started dating.
Yeah.
And now I'm 22 and you're 20, which is... Wait, no,
I'm 21.
Oh, okay. I was thinking I am 22, not 23. Yeah, I'm 22, he's 21.
Doesn't even remember
Wow.
my age.
Yeah, because I feel like a cougar. For 5 days, I'm older.
Technically,
I'm 2 years older than you.
Technically, you are.
Technically,
You're like a whole
yes.
year older than me.
But you look like you're 30, so. Anywho,
Thank you
Yes.
for that, I think.
that is the backstory I was trying to get at, but we can go on into it. So what did you learn? What is one thing you learned in our first year of dating?
In our first
our
year
of dating. Oh my gosh.
in our first year of dating, I would say even within the first 6 months was just talking about emotions I was feeling. I think as a guy, it's very easy to, just let all of them boil over and kind of collect and boil over. So I definitely struggled with that, and that caused a lot of tension between us because I think both of us tended, is that a word? Tended? Both
No.
of us.
English major.
Yeah, you're the English
We
major.
both-
I don't know. We had tendencies.
Yes.
It was a tendency for us to slip into just holding our emotions in and not talking to the other person about it because we thought it would make the other person upset or whatever. And for me, that was it was a selfish thing because at times I felt like, I don't know, I deserved to be upset, or it felt good to be upset sometimes about like something that
Holding a grudge.
was so minor. Yeah, just holding a grudge during those first 6 months, and we'd go hours sometimes of just, we weren't silent, but it was like, you
Snippy
okay? Yeah, no, I'm fine.
comments.
And then just being snippy with each other, and like it was our first relationship ever for each other, both of us. So there's bound to be some of that, but yeah, first 6 months.
Emotions.
Just really navigating through all of that. It was sorry, I just burped. So just navigating through all of that was a process. Like you asked me before, like, was it like instant? And it was definitely not instant. I felt like there was times where I had to really like challenge what my emotions wanted me to do, which was to just kind of keep those things to myself instead of just sharing them, even if it was hard for you to hear. in the long run, it was helpful because then you wouldn't have those issues later on. And it was the same for me. Like when you would tell me those things, like maybe it was hard to hear at first, but it was much better in the long run. So yeah, just within the first 6 months, I would even say is just learning to really vocalize emotions and just over communicate on that stuff, which is always good.
I would second that.
But yeah, that's what you would say yours is too?
No, I think there's a lot more other things, but I think I agree on, but for a different reason. I wouldn't, like, I think we're both pretty emotional people just naturally. Like growing up, I mean, I was, and I think you were as well, based on like, whatever, knowing about you. And we just both came together as very just deep feelers, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to express my emotions or feelings because I felt like I was going to be a burden to you. Mm-hmm. Because maybe that's how I perceive when people tell me emotions sometimes, is I take it on as a burden, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
So I assumed that you would take my emotions as a burden. I don't want to disrupt you or put anything else on your plate, even though that is your role. So that's why I didn't necessarily talk about emotions at first. But yeah, we would just bottle them up and say you're fine when you're not fine, and go 5-6 hours in a day not communicating well because we both desired to get to the root of what's happening, because we both know that something's off. We could even say like, something's off, something's wrong, you're quiet, blah, 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 and go in just like an endless loop over and over. Yeah. But if no one's willing to, like you were saying a minute ago, to sacrifice that mentality, I guess.
Yeah, it's just pride.
Yeah. It's just pride. We talked about it in episode 3, like it's pride in different areas. Yeah. Why do I need to not share with you, even though I feel like I'm burdening you? That's your job as a man in the relationship to, I mean, mine too. It's sacrificial love. We need to express emotions and feelings and thoughts and all that fun stuff. But if you don't, then you're not going to know what bothers your spouse or know how your tone affects someone. Like, I know I have a habit of starting sentences with no. Like, Nash could ask me something and I'd be like, no. Even though I'm agreeing with him, I started out like that. Like, simple things like that. Does that make sense? I don't know how we went to communication. We want to go into communication?
It's a good segue.
I think...
Or a good scooter.
Good scooter?
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's one thing we still have not gotten down. Even through engagement, she still doesn't get my jokes, so...
Well, in case anybody...
We'll see how that goes.
In case anybody didn't know, Nash and his brother Max used to scooter, and you can look them up.
Go for it.
They're private.
My YouTube channel also has almost 1,000 subscribers, so...
Well, are there even videos up anymore?
Yeah, I think a couple of them are public. Go check it out.
Yeah.
I was crazy. Might bring a tear to your eye.
Anyway, I think communication is a good way to go next.
Yeah.
We should talk about it.
Why don't you lead that conversation?
Okay.
Because I want to see where you're going with this.
I think communication is a big struggle for us. And I think we have different backgrounds in communication. Like, just based on, like, our family relationships and our friendships in the past, we just have different pasts with communication. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so we have, like, opposing thoughts on how to communicate, when to communicate, what to say, how to say it. We have very different, just, like, upbringings. And does that make sense?
Yeah, we understand communications and communicating with each other differently because of how our family raised us. Yeah.
And I think we have to communicate in a different way that I've never communicated with anybody ever, obviously, because the way you communicate with a spouse, or sorry, not a spouse,
not spouse yet.
A
couple of months.
Loved one. Like
partner.
A partner, I guess, yes. A way you communicate with a partner is very different than you would with a friend or with a sister or a parent or brother, I guess. I don't have a brother, but I think, yeah. What I've had to learn is...
She actually has two. She has two brothers-in-law.
I have 2 brother-in-laws, but not blood brothers. Anyway, what I was saying was, communication, wow, brain fart.
You can't say words like that. It's a clean podcast. You can't say that.
Such a bad brain fart.
Macy! Oh my goodness, Max, I have to bleep that out. You can't say that stuff. She really is lost for words right now with the communication. Yeah,
Why?
no,
Yeah,
communication, it was very hard for us to get. I think we're getting better at it now, much better at it now. But the thing is, with different stresses in life, you have to figure out how to communicate about it. So whenever there's a new stress or a new season, it feels like communication just like resets a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like even in the engagement season, I think we're getting it now, and like we have it, good. And I think premarital counseling has helped a lot with that as well. But when we first I feel like when we first were engaged, it seemed like it just kind of reset again. Like trying to figure out planning everything, like all this stress with the wedding, and it just brought on a different way to communicate, and it just took a little bit to figure it out.
Yeah, I think we just have talked to each other differently throughout dating.
Yeah.
So when we first started dating, I mean, it was very surface level because we didn't really know one another. And so it took time to, through emotion and talking through it, just knowing that upset me when you said that, this didn't upset me, blah, blah, blah. This made me feel happy, whatever. That leads to good communication. And I agree with the big moments. We've had really high highs where our communication is great. I need so many words to affirm me. I need you to be like, you look gorgeous today, and just go on and on. I don't need that every day, but some days it feels good, and but not just that communication. That's words of affirmation, I guess.
Which is crazy because you used to tell me for the longest time, I don't even know.
They change.
Words of affirmation is way down there for me, and yet that's
love languages change, but I'm just saying that over communication is usually really good for me. And so if you're having a quiet day, communicating, I'm feeling very just tired today. I don't really want to talk a ton. Nothing's up. Promise. I love you. We can, we'll be fine. That whenever we can, and truly I think every season that we've kind of gotten off with our communication and we've been more touchy with subjects, it's because we're not doing that. Mm-hmm. Both of us. Even when I'm quiet, something's off because I don't usually get quiet very often.
You like to talk.
I like to talk. But so if I'm not being super talkative, clearly something's up, but I won't admit it because of my pride. So if I'm not proactively starting conversations or prompting a day, if I feel off like that, then I can tell that that's just going to be maybe a week or two that we're just in a rut.
Yeah.
Communicatively.
Yep. So another thing that I learned in the year long of us dating is, holy cow, do books help a lot, and do devotionals help so much. I think a lot of our communication and just getting emotions out also stemmed from that. In times of devotionals, there was so many things that we would say to each other in a really good way, but I feel like the devotions that we'd read would be hey, this reminds me, you did something the other day. Mm-hmm. It seemed in those times it was a better environment to bring those things up.
And I just think the conversations.
Yeah, and I just think over time, each time we had one of those conversations to express our emotions and how we felt about something, we kind of reverted back to that. It was kind of a devotional time setting where our hearts were more open to it because of what we were reading and understanding that it was just for the benefit of the relationship. And that just took time, but applying ourselves to reading that stuff, and we still do devotionals together, and we have little booklets that we each read every day to pray for. It's for praying for a husband and praying for a wife, but it doesn't have to be. It can be you can still pray for the person who you're in a dating relationship with, engagement season with. It's still applicable to pray for them in specific areas, I guess.
I agree with that. I see what you're saying about just it prompts conversations, and you go into the time not necessarily looking for how you necessarily are doing something wrong, if that makes sense. Don't go into Devo just thinking, okay, let's talk about what I did wrong today, or but maybe go into it with how can I improve, because it prepares you for those conversations, and it won't be like if Nash is maybe doing something that's frustrating me and I haven't said anything yet or whatever it may be in the devotionals about it, and it has a biblical root and you can like really dissect it, like what are you going to do? Refute the Bible? You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's, okay, the Bible says to do this. I've noticed that you maybe haven't been doing that lately, but you've been doing this. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I think also that's good. I think you mentioned that a couple podcasts ago, like the sandwich method in communication.
Method.
But I just think devotionals.
Gonna get hungry now.
What? The sandwich?
Yeah.
But
I was being funny.
very funny. Yeah, I just think that's good. But also books of not just devotional, but books for just individual reading. I think we've read similar books, like, or the same books, but at different times. And so that is good to just like have the same theological beliefs as a couple. But more specifically, but first, before I go into that, sorry, I meant to mention there's a dating devotional that we did during our first year of dating.
Together with Christ.
Together with Christ. Thank you. So if you're dating and you'd like to do that, that is a very good devotional. And we've also been going through for the past almost 2 years now, because October will be 2 years, the Love Language Daily Devo. That is really good. So if you're looking
love
for,
language devotional,
and that's technically for marriage. It every day is a different one, obviously, but it's very applicable to dating and engagement as well.
Yeah.
But back to books, I just think it's very fruitful and beneficial to have your own, like, pouring into your own knowledge of the Bible, and then communicating it. Like, often we'll just be like sitting somewhere, we're both reading our own books, and we'll just like stop and share this like amazing snippet, and like conversations start from there. But it's also, okay, you're fueling your mind and your brain with this. And sometimes it's nice to just like not watch a movie or, do something different.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed doing that. And we've done that since month one, the end of month one, I think, is when we got that Together with Christ. So that was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it.
Great.
For
this is part one.
I have more to talk about next week.
Yeah. So, sorry. Yes. This is part one of a two-part series, excuse me, about what we learned in dating.
Our first year of dating.
Yes.
So that was it. We'll see you guys next week for part 2. Love you guys.
Bye.